Okay, well, let's get started. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, everyone. How are you today? Hopefully that everyone is in a good health. Well, today we would like to have a recorded meeting. So our today's material is going to cover about ESP, or it is stand for English for Specific Purposes. Well, before we come to our next material about ESP, I would like to explain about the LMS that we are going to use for the whole semester. So would you please access to your lms.umm.ac.id. So here is the thing. You can go to your LMS later. So lms.umm.ac.ad. So you can click your course, Traveling Practice and Development, Class D. So our activity for today is attached on this week. So today we have week 3. You can click on this and you can access the material, video analysis, and Padlet activity for video analysis. First of all, before you access the material, you can have the reflection about your teaching practice. I want you to note about your teaching practice that you have already done in the previous meeting. And next, the materials, you can access the material for today. And there are 2 videos that you need to analyze about ESP. And here is the activity platform to do your video analysis, right? Okay, now, so let's proceed to the next materials. I'm going to explain the material of ESP. Let me share the screen. All right, so here we go. ESP, English for Specific Purposes. All right, what is actually ESP? Okay, so it stands for English for Specific Purposes. Why is ESP? Why do we need to have ESP other than General English? General English, it is abbreviated into GE, General English, and ESP stands for English for Specific Purposes. Well, we would like to cover what is ESP actually and why is ESP. If I'm asking you about this vocabulary, what will your answer be? Interest, what does it mean? If I'm asking you, hey, what is your interest? Maybe you are going to answer, I'm interested in playing football. I'm interested in reading a novel, for instance. Well, interest has a different meaning to the definition that we have discussed. Interest in some other disciplines or areas, it has different meaning. For instance, hey, taking interest from a bank is illegal in Islam. Interest is haram in Islam. So interest here in faculty of economics or in Sharia economics, it means riba, right? So come next to the next vocabulary. We have tissue. In general, we have tissue. You use it to wipe your face or for other purposes. Tissue has different meaning when we use it in the field of health science. Tissue means jaringan, jaringan kulit. So we call it tissue. And what about the next one? Bolt. Bolt and lightning, yeah. We normally use the word bolt for that case, but then when we come to engineering field, it has different meaning. Bolt is a metal that used to connect two objects. We call it in Bahasa Indonesia mur, ya. Mur, we call it bolt. All right. So this is the analogy why ESP needs to be learned, okay? So this is the phenomena, the new job market offering employment. For example, in hotel, hospitals, constructions, or manufacturing welcomes workers with specific occupational skills. And more importantly, the ability to interact in specialized form of English. So there is a demand in the workplace that an applicant or employee needs to be able to have a specific form of English. Okay, and it is not taught in general English, of course. Even us, as English graduates or English students, um, we still have some limited access of vocabulary to certain terms. For instance, when you are taking a translations course and there is a customer want to translate you, but they are coming for different field, for instance, from biology or from nursing. So it has a specific form that you will find difficult to translate the word. Is it? All right. Okay. So this is the phenomena. So vocational English is a way of opening up opportunities to continue learning and adapting to an international work life. So because of the internationalizations, so English has become a global talk. So everyone, I think, is not everyone, but English is widely used in the world. Also, it affects the working life. Some companies require applicants or employee to be able to have a good command of English, and it has a different situation and purpose. Yeah, because the English graduates, the graduates needs to operate things or object in English. They have situations or contexts that they need to be familiar with, and so that in English curriculum, we need to be able to design subject-specific syllabus. Okay, so then in our university, we have the program called ESP. It was called ESP, but now then it is called FLSP. But what is actually the meaning? The meaning is similar. That ESP is given for all departments in Universitas Muhammadiyah Malang. So we have ESP for engineering, ESP for law, and others. Okay. So this is the overview. In a very simple way, ESP can be defined as an English as second language course that focus on specific needs of learner. So our focus in ESP is the learner. We need to analyze what are actually the needs of learners, okay? And specific disciplines. However, this definition is far too simple from what the ESP has been discussed recently. The main aspect, though, is the specific needs of learners in learning English. ESP is commonly related to English for nursing, mechanical engineering, computer science, and so forth. Right. So this is the book that designed for different disciplines. ESP is normally taught to accounting students, to business students, and agriculture students, and also civil aviation. So there are some fields that needs English as their language of everyday use. Okay. So this is the theoretical concept about the divisions of ESP. There are some branches, ada banyak cabang. So basically there are three big branches for ESP. The first one is English for academic purpose. So it is for scholarship, for someone who want to further their educations. It is called EAP, English for academic purposes, and English for professional purposes. Professional means that it is related to law, related to medicine, faculty of medicine, and then English for occupational purposes, occupation, then in industrial field. All right. So here are some of the divisions of the ESP. You can later take a look at it. ESP is deemed to be effective as it covers the real and immediate needs of learners. ESP is considered to be effective as it equips the students with the skills or competence to be able to to do things, to do certain procedure in English, and it is the skill is very required in a workforce. Okay. Apart from that, the fact that the specificity means less teaching loads than the general one does, it turns apparently into the strength of ESP. All right. So then we need to have a skill as a teachers. We need to have a skill of designing need-based ESP. Jadi ESP itu harus didasari dengan need analysis. What the students need, right? As ESP sets out to teach the language and communication skills that specific groups of language learners need or will need to function effectively in their disciplines of study, professions, or workplace, a thorough and valid needs analysis has to be conducted to identify the needs. Berarti project kita kan bisa sesuai di course outline, project kita akan melakukan need analysis so that it is you are trained to have the skill to design need-based ESP. Okay. There are some considerations when we are going to design a syllabus or curriculum for ESP. There are the considerations are target situation analysis. We can see the target situations. For instance, for tourism, students tourism, maybe one student enrolled in tourism department or study program, and we need to see the target situations. For instance, the target situation for tourism, maybe hotels or airport. So that's an example of target situations. And there's discourse analysis, some discourse, some vocabulary or some terminologies that commonly used for that discipline. And then the present situation analysis, we consider the present situations of certain discipline. And then learner factor analysis. Learner factor analysis, it is more about considering the learner's need. For instance, what they have already known, what they wants, needs, and necessity. Wants, needs, and lack. Apa yang diinginkan, apa yang ternyata masih kurang di mahasiswa itu, skill apa yang masih kurang, needs, want, and lacks. Okay. The last one is teaching context analysis. We need to consider about the teaching context, right? So in target situations, we identify tasks, activities, and skills learners are or will be using English for. Jadi target situasinya, as I mentioned before, what the learner should ideally know and be able to do in that situations. And discourse analysis this is focused more on the language use. About present situation, identification of what the learners do and do not know, can or cannot do in relation to the demands of the target situations, lacks, wants, and necessities. And then learner factor analysis, identifications of learner factors, such as their motivation, how they learn, and their perception of their needs. Teaching context analysis, we have identification of factors related to the environment in which the course will run. Maybe the program is just like set in OMM. ESP is given to freshman students, mahasiswa angkatan tahun pertama, begitu diberi program ESP Award. Atau bisa mungkin project field, begitu ya, diterjunkan ke industri, but they have to talk in English. So teaching context analysis. Need analysis cannot only be seen as the initial stages, but also the ongoing process to understand learners' needs so as to provide the real and immediate needs of the learners. The result of need analysis can also be evaluated. So actually, need analysis is not done in the first stance of the course, but it can be done continuously during the process of teaching and also in the end of the teaching process. So that's the idea. So investigating specialist discourse, there are specialist discourse. Discourse means you deal with specific terminologies or vocabularies. It is crucial that the ESB should be deep in a way that the ESB teachers understand the specialist discourse. This discourse will give directions to how English is used in particular or specific target situations. The investigation of specialist discourse can be done through ethnography, genre analysis, or corpus analysis. For instance, in economic, we should say government expenditure rather than government consumptions. So there is a specific discourse for each discipline. In gym, we should say training on abs rather than training on stomach or belly. In law, we should say everyone must be equal before the law. If you use these terms, before the law. So what is common is before the law. Not everyone must be equally treated by the law. Okay, right. Developing Esp-based curriculum. The investigation of specialist discourse may suggest ideas for course design. Also, the investigations of the target situation can suggest not only the discourse, but also the skill. These elements convert to goals and objectives and further list of tasks. Therefore, ESP is not only about teaching materials or text, but also tasks, target tasks. ESP designers or teachers have the right to set how specific the class is going to be based on valid and justified reasons. It's actually, there is a discussion about how specific should ESB be and how broad it is should be. And components of the ESB curriculum, when we are going to design the ESB curriculum, there are some components that you need to consider. The first one is teaching materials, teaching method. It deals with certain tasks that we are going to develop, assessment, and also evaluations. Here is the consideration for designing a successful program. You know that designing ESP program is not easy. There are some consideration to make this program successful. The first one is finance. Yeah. Well, I think you need to pay some amount of money to take the ESP program. So yeah, it costs a lot. And then administration and staff development. We also need to consider the staff available for administrating this course, and also the curriculum development. We need to carefully nail the curriculum structure and sequence. Okay, need assessment. We need to do need assessment, or we call it need analysis. Support services like providing job counseling. Job counseling means that what the students will project next for their career, and job placement. And one last one is cooperation between content teacher and ESL teacher. So let's say that we as English graduates are expert in the language in English, but not on the content. Let's say you have to teach English in mathematics. When you hate mathematics, it's going to ruin your class. So then it needs cooperations between ESV teachers and content teacher. Content teacher means the teacher that is expert in that field. Okay, there should be collaboration between English teachers and the mathematics teachers. So they collaborate to design ESV course. Okay, I think that's all for today's materials. That's hopefully work for you. Thank you. If you have any questions, you can drop your questions into the platform, into LMS. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.